Good morning, my countrymen. Yesterday, I appeared before you to announce that effective yesterday, I assumed the full-fledged powers of the President of the Republic of the Philippines, because since June 30, the office of the President has been vacant. Vacant because Rodrigo Duterte ran for President without constitutional authority, without a COMELEC-approved certificate of candidacy, making all the votes cast by 16 million misled voters null and void. So the seat of the presidency was empty. Under Article 2, Section 3 of the Constitution, civilian authority is superior to the military at all times. There is no doubt that I am the supreme commander of the biggest civilian authority in the Philippines, paramilitary authority, the United States Allied Freedom Fighters of the East, Liberation Army, which is the mother organization of the Armed Forces of the Philippines, the mother organization of the Philippine National Police, and the mother of the Republic of the Philippines itself. So being the supreme commander of the USAPEC, I took it upon myself as my solemn obligation to step into the vacant presidency and declare myself president on June 30 last year. The other basis for assuming the presidency is that I am a full-fledged member of the Supreme Court of the Philippines. And before I took or assumed my profession as a lawyer, I pledged before God, before the world, before our country, that as a lawyer, I should defend this republic with all the resources at my command. That is my oath-bound responsibility as a lawyer, and the oath-bound responsibility of all the lawyers in this country, including Duterte. So, being the Supreme Commander of the USAPEC Liberation Army, and as a lawyer, I took my oath to fill up the vacancy. But for a long time, almost a year, I allowed Duterte to run the country as a de facto president, hoping that there was no need to change him, because there were 16 million people misled by the COMELEC by allowing first a dead man to run for president, Roy Senyeres, and who got 14 million votes, and worse, by allowing a criminal, a certified criminal and a certified lunatic to run for the presidency and bribe the people into voting for him as president. So 16 million Filipinos were misled because the media, which is also a culprit in this crisis, did not tell the people that Bagong Duterte was illegally running for president. They covered that up, that he had no COC. Even now, ABS-CBN and GMA7 out of pride is not talking about the fact that Bagong is a usurper, including all the members of his cabinet. Before I proceed, there is a very important topic that I would like to talk about. Yesterday, the Radio Mindanao Network, under Mr. Miray, told me, and of all questions, it concerned something that is not very, very important, but I answered it anyway. He said, Mr. President, and he said it sort of sincerely, Mr. President, what do you say about the proposal to change the Republic of the Philippines, the name? I said, I don't have any opposition to that, because it should be changed. However, changing the name of the Philippines occupies the lowest position in the hierarchy of priorities. The most important problem is the crisis in Marawi, the 14 million widows or people murdered by Duterte, West Philippine Sea. There are many paramount concerns that we should address ourselves to, other than changing the word Philippines, which has been accepted by our people for the last 70 years anyway, or more than 70 years. But what do you say about it? I said, yes, we should change it. Why, Mr. President? I said, because the word Philippines came from King Philip of Spain, who was the king of Spain at the height of the Spanish power. And King Philip died of venereal disease, gonorrhea and syphilis. And in fact, when he died, his right foot was cradled because it was so swollen he cannot walk anymore. So we are named after a syphilitic person. And they said, what name do you propose? I said, there are two names possible. Senator Ilardi is calling for change into Maharlika. But Maharlika has a problem because it means kingly, royal, dignified. It's a good name, it's noble. But the other meaning of Maharlika in India is that it means malaking bayag, big balls. So it is susceptible to that kind of interpretation, malaking bayag, dakong lagay. Kaya kaniyatong panahon, yung panahon na yon, yung mga malaking bayag, expected to fight rather than run dahil mabigat yung bayag. Yung walang bayag, it can run very fast. So, yung mga malaking bayag talaga, they were reputed to stand by their ground because they cannot run very fast as malaki yung bayag. So ako, I am in favor of Maharlika as proposed by Senator Ilardi. What about you, Mr. President? What do you want? I said, baka malaya. Kasi the word malaya will always remind us at all times that we should stand for freedom. Breathe the air of freedom for as long as this nation exists in this part of the universe. So, yun, salamat ako, tinawag ako, pero the director who cannot also stand the crisis in Marawi asked me, what do you propose? How do you propose to solve the problem in Marawi? I said, I will solve it before the sun sets, within 12 hours or 24 hours. This is how I will do it. As Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces of the Philippines, I will withdraw the army from Marawi and let them stay 2 kilometers away from the borders. So there will be no firing. No firing. There will be peace in less than 12 hours. And then I will ask all the Muslim leaders, the governor of the armed, chairman of MNLF, chairman of MILF, leader of BIFF, the Muslim imams, mayors, to convene in Marawi City and ask the Maopi and the supporters to present their demands. If their demands are reasonable, right then and there, I will grant it. By the authority of my position as President of the Philippines, I'll grant their demand. I'm just afraid that they cannot be granted, and they might present a demand that cannot be granted because Malaysia is behind this war in Marawi. They are in the middle of this crisis. Saan ba kinuha yung napakaraming bala? Ilang simana ng away dyan. May bala galing sa Malaysia yan. Kasi merong 3 peacekeeping force ang Malaysia, armado. Andyan sa Morolandia. And if they really want to maintain peace, then they should have stopped the Maote. Kasi they are here as peacekeepers. But they are here as troublemakers. You remember that for the last 45 years, Malaysia has been invading the Philippines. After they grabbed Sabah from us in 1963, they came here to inflict trouble. So we will forget about Sabah, which is giving them $100 million a day and $100 billion a year. It is too important to be ignored, so they came to Mindanao, and in fact, if possible, claimed the Mindanao for itself through their proxy, the MILF, via the Bangsa Moro Basic Code. Kasi yung BBL na yan, covers the entire Mindanao. Kung wari, maliit lang ang covered. Pero if you check the definition of Bangsa Moro, it includes everybody in Mindanao. It includes Mindanao, Sulu, and Palawan. So if you vote in favor of the BBL, then goodbye Mindanao. And they're here to ensure that Mindanao will also be incorporated into the Federation of Malaysia. But again, that is not so important at this moment. The most important thing, and I want you to think about it the whole day, Digong Duterte is 99.99% dead. And if that 1% is correct, 1%, he is alive, he is completely incapacitated. And he cannot hold the office of the presidency effectively. So I claim to be the full-fledged president of the Philippines, and I want the armed forces of the Philippines and the Philippine National Police and all law enforcement agencies of the Philippines to support my presidency. Because if you don't